Clay Travis, let me just start with you. With the Nazi salute as it's being billed, I want to show a little, first of all, what it was that sparked this whole debate, which is Elon Musk doing his "From My Heart to You" salute. Let's take a look.
This one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
And he repeated that a couple of times. I then want to show a mashup of how the liberal world has, with entire prediction.
Hello, welcome to the review where I watch all the garbage y'all don't have to. I'm sorry, but Elon Musk is a knucklehead. You got to admit, he is a knucklehead, especially when he's out in public on stage. He does some weird, he's always doing some weird jumping around, and it's fun. It's kind of endearing, honestly, because he's just so awkward. But he is a knucklehead, but everybody knows that wasn't a Nazi salute. Come on, man, be realistic here.
Predictability responded to this. Let's take a look.
Throwing something that looks like what is politely called the Roman salute. And maybe this is not what he meant when he did it. Who among us knows what is in the hearts of men? But the Roman salute is a thing. And that is what it looks like Elon Musk was doing, which added a nice blood-curdling chill to the day for
Rachel the Neck Maddow knows what's in the hearts of men. She knows that that was not a Nazi salute. But wait.
Many people today. Go ahead. He does it.
Whoa, did she just do a Nazi salute? She just did it. And she actually did a Nazi salute and was doing it on purpose. Elon Musk was not doing a Nazi salute. He was saying, "From my heart to yours." We all know that. But apparently Rachel Maddow's a Nazi. She's a Nazi. She just did a Nazi salute.
I still am not rocking with anyone sympathetic to Nazis. If you're cool and want to defend the Sig Heils and the Nazi salutes, all the whatever you want to do, that's on you. I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm not with the Nazis.
Clay Travis, I mean, I have spent the last 8 years.
I'm sorry, but Ocasio-Cortez is starting to get those crazy liberal eyes, ain't she? Let's go back a little bit. Look, she's starting to get them crazy liberal eyes. She's losing it, boy. She's losing it.
If you're cool and want to defend
look
the
at her
Sig
eyes.
Heils and the Nazi salutes, all the whatever you want to do, that's on you. I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm not with the Nazis.
Yeah, she's got the crazy liberal eyes, boys. Somebody get her a straitjacket.
Clay Travis, I mean, I have spent the last 8 years trying to help my liberal friends to avoid playing the Nazi Hitler card at every opportunity. The one person who seems completely impervious to this is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who literally can't go 10 minutes without calling Trump or his supporters Nazis. And she's at it again. She's quite clear. Elon Musk was doing a Hitler salute, a Sieg Heil, he's a Nazi, and she wants everyone to know, I'm not part of this lot. To me, it's pathetic. I mean, I tweeted, and it's had about 10 million people have viewed that post I did, which shows the response to this. But I said, look, it was ill-advised of Musk to do it like that. Let's just all agree he probably won't do it like that again. But he certainly didn't intend to do a Nazi salute. He made it clear it was from my heart to you. That's what he was doing. He said it. What do we make of the fallout from this? Are we right back to 2016, post-Trump victory, just endless liberal, you're all Nazis hysteria?
God, I hope so, because it works so well for him this past election season.
It's a good question, and thanks for having me on, Piers. Let me start with this. I think probably the best people who would judge whether there are Nazi tendencies or Nazi values emblazoned or embodied in a party would be the people of Israel, Piers. And I just came back from Jerusalem. I went all over Israel to the border with Lebanon, to the kibbutzes right up against Gaza. You could hear the bombs going off. I was just there. Do you know that if Israel were able to vote in the United States presidential race, based on the polling there, it would have voted like West Virginia and Wyoming, 70-30 for Trump. I would love to have seen the same vociferous acknowledgement and analysis of all the stupid college kids that we saw on campuses in the spring of last year who were actually advocating for legitimate Nazi policies. They weren't worried about an awkward hand gesture and how we analyze it. We were actually having young, highly educated kids on college campuses that were, in fact, embracing many.
Yep. Clay nails it every time. There was actual kids on college campuses chanting from the river to the sea, which means get rid of all the Jews. I have to be careful how I speak on YouTube or I'll get canceled.
Of the ideals of anti-Semitism. And I would just point out the reason that Tim Walz, in my opinion, was the nominee was because Josh Shapiro had a big, bad problem that connected in an awful way with the modern day Democrat Party base. Do you know what it was? He was Jewish, because otherwise I think he would have been the pick and he would have been a far better VP pick than Tim Walz was.
Oh my God, he nailed that. He's so right. He would have been the VP pick if it wasn't for the fact that he's Jewish. I mean, that could have changed the entire election if they won Pennsylvania. But no, they had to put his religion before qualifications, like they always do.
I think it's actually the Democrat Party that has an issue with anti-Semitism now, not the Republican Party at all. This is desperate. It doesn't land. It's a failure.
Well, what is incredible is that the Anti-Defamation League actually defended Musk, said it was an awkward gesture, to which AOC wouldn't even accept that from them. She said, no, just to be clear, you're defending a Heil Hitler salute that was performed and repeated for emphasis and clarity. People can officially stop listening to you as any sort of reputable source of information now. You work for them. Thank you for making that crystal clear. In other words, the Anti-Defamation League now work for the Nazis. Extraordinary stuff from AOC. It seems to have gone, even by her standards, bonkers. We've been joined, Tim Miller's with us now. Tim.
See, even Piers said it. She's got those liberal crazy eyes, man. She's gone bonkers.
Great to have you back on Uncensored. I watched this happen. I watched the immediate reaction. I thought, here we go. We're back into the Nazis. Is there no way of American political discourse, led by the Democrats, I have to say, is there no way of just moving past Nazis and Hitler? Can we not just all agree that it's a ridiculous and fatuous thing to keep playing out as a narrative and doesn't work? Hence Trump's big win, despite everyone on the left calling him a Nazi. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think, we'll start with one area of agreement, actually, that I have with you and Clay, which is different for me lately, which is I agree that it is, I don't think, a good strategy. The fact that you guys are talking about it shows that it's not a great strategy. If they were doing some very effective messaging, I kind of think that Clay would probably be ignoring it. So I agree. I think Elon's kind of a weird guy that was doing kind of an awkward gesture. I think we can all admit it was kind of awkward, but he does a lot of kind of awkward things. If I was the Democrats, here's what I'd be focused on when it comes to Elon Musk. This man is the largest government contractor, the largest recipient of government money. He is the largest donor to Donald Trump's campaign. He is the owner of a communications platform, and he will have an office inside the White House. I mean, there was mass outrage on the right about the fact that some people in the Biden administration were emailing Facebook and Twitter people recommending the content be taken down.
That's right, Soul Glow. So that's right, Soul Glow. We were up in arms about the government censoring people, doing something illegal. You're just talking about Elon Musk having an office in the White House. There's nothing illegal about that. The second they start giving him money or contracts just because he's buddies with the president, let me know. The second he starts censoring people on the other side of the aisle for the government, let me know. Otherwise, he's not doing anything wrong, as much as you'd like him to be.
I don't think that that was very smart. I think that was bad policy by the Biden administration. But it was kind of mid-level bureaucratic stuff. I don't think it was really limiting people's free speech all that much. Now, I don't understand how you could be upset about that, but then be okay about the owner of a communications platform having an office in the White House, having a security clearance.
Did he really just say that they didn't really do anything to stop people's free speech? We all know he doesn't believe that. He's lying. He doesn't believe that in the slightest. The Biden administration, people in the Biden administration were contacting Zuckerberg. He just said it on Rogan the other day. They were actually yelling at his employees to censor stuff on Facebook. So don't even sit there and try to say that it was kind of like some mid-level bureaucrats doing it. You're full of it. You know you're full of it. You're lying through your liberal teeth.
And being able to put the thumb on the scale of his algorithm to promote what is happening out of this administration. We can all agree, if you just go on the Twitter or the X For You page, it's like Elon Musk propaganda central. So now we have an officer of the American government controlling a communications platform. I would think that people who are concerned about speech and free and open dialogue in this country would be astonished by that, in addition to the potential.
Well, let's think about this for a second. The Supreme Court ruled that money is speech. It's Elon Musk's platform, which you guys pointed out many times years past how it's a private platform. It can do what it wants. It's still a private platform, a private company. It can do what it wants. Speech is money. The Supreme Court said so. Like I said, the second Elon Musk and Donald Trump do something inappropriate or illegal, let us know. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about here. Nothing at all.
Corruption. If you're an Elon competitor, what must you be thinking right now if you're a competitor of SpaceX or competitor of Tesla, which receive billions of dollars for the government, and the owner of that company is now going to have control over a government efficiency program where he gets to choose where money goes?
Again, they had no problem with Elon Musk when he was a liberal and voting Democrat. They had no problem at all with all those government contracts. All those government contracts are old news. Trump didn't give it to him. Elon Musk has had those contracts for years. He's had the contracts. They're not related to each other. Him being in government now and those contracts have no relation whatsoever. The fact of the matter is he owns a private company. He can do whatever he wants with it. Just like you all said years ago when private companies were censoring conservatives. You all said on the left, they're private. They could do whatever they want. Well, back at you, sweetheart.
The corruption here is astonishing. It'd be like if George Soros had an office off of the West Wing when Joe Biden was president. It's insane. So if I was the Democrats, I'd be focused on that level of corruption and not his awkward hand gesture.
Well, it's very interesting what you've just said.
Before Piers goes on here, you know what? I'd much rather Elon be out in the public eye talking to Donald Trump than what the Democrats do. Everything behind closed doors, sending secret emails. George Soros absolutely funds the Democrat Party in secret, quietly. I much rather for it to be out in the open, in the sunlight, like Elon Musk and Trump are doing it, than the way the slime balls on the left and the people in the deep state do it. I much prefer this.
I'll bring Dave Smith in because I've got to say, it's good to hear someone on the left admit that this Nazi stuff is bullshit. I just think it is, and it's just stupid. And also, I just feel I'm not Jewish, but if I was, I would be so endlessly offended, deeply, mortally offended, that people keep trying to draw an equivalence between Donald Trump and the Republicans and the Nazis. I just think it's ridiculous. Anyway, first, your thoughts on that. But secondly, interesting point I thought there from Tim, which is, yeah, you can. I didn't actually agree with your first part, Tim, about Facebook and stuff. I think they did have a pretty insidious impact on things like suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story, the New York Post getting locked out of social media for the last 2 weeks of that last election, and so on. I think that was very wrong. However, I do think you make a very interesting comparative point. And Dave, I'm interested what your take is on this. First, Nazigate, but secondly, the point Tim makes about Elon Musk getting an office in the West Wing and comparing that to the influence perhaps that Facebook had last time round.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, there's some that I agree with, a lot I don't. So I would be in agreement that I think even if you want to make the argument somehow that like Elon Musk this was a dog whistle, he's a secret Nazi and he chose this as his moment to like subliminally come out as a Nazi and that was the message somehow. The fact is, Piers, as you addressed at the top of the show, the Democrats have just gone to this well far too many times and nobody's listening anymore. So even if this was the real case, which I don't think it is, I think he's just a somewhat awkward kind of herky-jerky guy in these moments. But even if this was the case, I'm sorry, you just billed Donald Trump's rally as a Nazi rally because it was in Madison Square Garden. Yeah. And that was the only connection that you had. So it's just boy who cried wolf. And I will say, you know, I am Jewish. I don't think it matters that I'm Jewish and you're not. I think we can all have an opinion on this. But I think that the constant comparisons to Hitler and the constant invoking of the Nazis is just stupid. I would say that to downplay the amount of censorship that we saw under the Biden regime and even before Joe Biden came in, I think is just not fair. I mean, listen, as somebody who was adamantly opposed to lockdowns and vaccine mandates during COVID, the censorship was very widespread, and many people had their lives and livelihoods ruined simply for speaking up about government policies that, by the way, they turned out to be right about. And all the people saying follow the science turned out to be wrong about quite a bit of the science. I would also say that it's interesting to me that Democrats always seem to get concerned with the concentration of power as soon as they're out of power. And it's kind of wild to see that the party of George Soros.
Ding, 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 ding. Dave Smith hits the nail on the head. They're only worried about the concentration of power when they're out of power. That is an absolute fact. And I'm willing to say that both sides do the same crap. It's just talking points. That's all they are. They're just talking points.
And banker bailouts and all types of just corrupt concentrated power now have an issue with this. I think there's always a concern. This is the way the American political system is set up. And yes, there is a concern with powerful private interests wielding government influence. But I also would not equate the government getting in the business of censoring the American people with someone like Elon Musk, who at least his promise with Twitter has been that it's going to be a free speech platform. And I think he's moved more in that direction. And so they're not the same thing at all. Like, I don't have the same problem with a tech executive being in the White House who's going to protect free speech than I do with the government instructing tech executives to censor speech.
Okay.
That's right. Dave Smith really, really just nails it all there. Elon Musk is obeying the law where the law was violated when Biden was in power and he had tech people violating the law. There's a huge difference. Huge difference. I hope Trump surrounds himself with people that believe in the Constitution and the law. And as long as they obey the law, I got no problem with it.
The thing about Musk, this idea that this is how the American system works, that is wild. Please tell me, show me an example of this. The largest donor is the largest government contractor is now in the West Wing. That is insane. That is not how the American system works. And I guess if you go back to the Gilded Age of Rockefellers, but like
that is absolutely how the system works. Every time the administrations change, they put their pals in positions of power. They make them ambassadors, secretary of states. That is the way the system works. That's the way it always worked. The only difference here is they're doing it out in the open, which I much rather prefer. That's the only difference here. And the fact that you don't like it because your people ain't in power. Those are the only differences.
The idea that one of the richest men in the world who also gets money from the government is now going to be deciding how the government spends money, that is not how the American system works. It is and obviously they've only been in 2 days, so we'll see. But the potential for corruption and influence there is unprecedented in post-war American history. And then on top of that, to say that he has a...
And that's another thing. DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, is not deciding how to spend money. They're deciding how to not spend money. They're saving money. They're bringing costs down. They're not adding more money. They're coming up with ways where we don't have to spend as much money. So it's kind of the exact opposite of what you're claiming it to be.
He has a platform, and maybe you're saying it's free speech because he's not banning people, though I think he was taking away some people's blue checks. But his platform has an algorithm where he promotes certain things. So if you're on the For You page, you get promoted pro-Musk, pro-Trump stuff. So somebody having that kind of concentrated.
Again, that's completely legal. The Supreme Court decided money is speech. Elon Musk can use his platform to promote whatever political party he wants to promote. He's a free person. He can promote whatever he wants to. It's his platform. He owns it. Get over it.
Power in the government. Please show me an example of anything even remotely close to this in the modern times.
I want to be fair. I want to bring in Ali, who's not said a word yet. Been waiting very patiently. I will bring you other guys back in on this. It's a really interesting debate, I think, about Elon and his power. Ali, first of all, your view of Nazigate.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with Tim here. I don't really know what happened there. I think it was pretty bizarre hand gesture, but ultimately, I'm not in the business of giving Elon the benefit of the doubt necessarily, but I think there's a lot more we can criticize him on and the Trump administration on, and we should focus our efforts there. But no, like Tim said, I think it's unprecedented to have this level of money and power in support of this administration and have access to this administration. You have CEOs of major media companies, X, Meta, Apple, Google, and we've never seen this before. Just a few years ago,
Exactly. That's the point. We've never seen this before. So they're doing it out in the open. Everything's going to be transparent. They're not going to do it behind closed doors like has been done the last 4 years. Everything's going to be out in the open. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm out. Cheers.